My Benfica just beat Bayern to win the group and advance to the knockout stages of the Club World Cup. I couldn't be more happier with Benfica at the moment, with what was a kind of a roller coaster of a tournament. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about Benfica. I want to talk to you about the tournament in general and the weather and the stadiums. And I also want to talk about something that's very important to me, a topic that really is weighing on my chest. This was a tournament that was kind of a lot of ups and downs. In the last game when Benfica played the team that's kind of a semi-pro team, we subbed out Koçu, who is our number 10. And when the Turkish beast was coming out, he was very upset. He was yelling at the coach. He was saying all kinds of things to the coach. The coach was telling him to shut up. And it kind of got in this big altercation on the field, and he got subbed off. He didn't like it. All right. Now, Coach has always been a hothead on the field, so I didn't really think too much of it, but I did think that, okay, this is really bad for the club. We go to practice, we go to training, and Koçu and Bruno Lage kind of, there's pictures of them arm around each other laughing. It seemed like everything was over. He didn't start today's game. Renato Sanchez started, and Koçu came in and played well, right? So, but Benfica beats Bayern Munich 1-0. And the reason, a big reason, if a lot of people don't know this, the reason we're starting Renato Sanchez over Koçu is not because of the fight or the issue. They're trying to see if Renato Sanchez can stay healthy, because throughout this season, he was on loan from PSG. Benfica has an option to buy him for 10 million. It was part of the João Neves deal. But Benfica doesn't know if they want to hit that because they don't know if he can stay healthy. Supposedly, the Benfica doctors have figured out what is wrong with him, and supposedly his body doesn't create enough protein or something. It was some article. I didn't really read into it, but the supposed doctors say they know what's going on with him and why he's getting injured so much. So we'll see how that goes and what comes of that. But that's why Renato Sanchez is starting more than Koçu in this tournament. Same thing with Di Maria. We're starting Di Maria because Di Maria didn't win the Taça de Portugal. He didn't win the Portuguese league. He didn't win nothing. So he kind of won this nice farewell goodbye to the Benfica fans for what he did early in his career and to come back to us and try. He wanted to win something with us. So it wasn't a fairy tale ending that he saw it. So Benfica's using him a lot in this Club World Cup because they know he's leaving. So they're letting him get PT as he ends his time with Benfica, right? And at least we didn't go crashing out the group. So, wherever we go out now, we go out because it looks like we're going to be playing Chelsea. So that's the reason those two players are playing more than actual people that are starters. Yeah. So anyways, we go into this Bayern Munich game. We're on 4 points, right? Because we tied Boca Juniors. We beat the semi-pro team 6-0. We go into it needing a tie against Bayern Munich and also, or Boca Juniors couldn't win by more than 7 goals and we would be through in second place. Going into it, on, I don't know if it was Saturday night, whatever night it was, maybe Sunday, whenever Boca Juniors played Bayern Munich, when the game was tied 1-1 with last 5 minutes, Oli scores a goal to give Bayern the win. I celebrated that goal. Like, I was like, come on. And it wasn't because I wanted to see Boca Juniors lose. It was simply because Bayern winning, I knew that in the third game, Bayern would not play their starters. I knew it. I knew it was going to be too hot. I knew that the company wasn't going to waste legs. I knew that they wouldn't go full strength into the last game, right? So I was like, okay, Benfica could tie Bayern. Because in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen Benfica beat Bayern. Like, ever, bro. Like, it's just not in the Champions League, nothing. They're just insane, and they score a lot of goals. So when I saw them beat Boca Juniors, vamos caralho, because I knew that they weren't going to play their starters, and they didn't play their starters. They took out like 7 players. Benfica scores early. Schaudrup scores early, a guy that is linked to a move to Fabregas's team in Italy, I believe it is. Supposedly they want him really bad, but he scores today and gives us the 1-0 lead. And then Benfica kind of just holds on, right? They play a good first half. They go into the second half, play a little bit more, but then Bayern starts putting in their starters. Olise comes in, Harry Kane comes in, and a lot of good players come in. Kimmich comes in, and they start playing this football that is very, very hard to defend. So Benfica goes fully on defense at this point, and just trying to hold on to a tie or a win because it would be a big result for them. Turbin in net was huge. 23-year-old Ukrainian goalkeeper, unbelievable goalkeeper. Do I love him at Benfica? I don't love him. I think that he reacts sometimes to the balls that are low because he's a tall guy, so getting down low for him is kind of hard. He makes some questionable decisions playing out the back, but he is a great goal stopper. He stopped Leroy Sané from scoring a few goals today. He was phenomenal. Definitely Benfica's best player. Anyways, Benfica topped the group. 6 points. 7 points is what they have now, which is huge for Benfica because I think in this month span, you could pretty much make as much money as you pretty much make in the Champions League for the whole year, almost. You get like 30 or 40 million just for coming to the event. And then every time you win a game, you get like 2.7 million. So Benfica would have made like 6 million just off the 2 wins that they got in the groups in the knockout in the group stage. So beating Bayern not only made them win the group, but they got paid for beating Bayern. And I don't know if you make more money for winning the group. Maybe you do. But Benfica's getting paid at the moment, right? Making a lot of money in this little preseason whatever tournament. So very, very, very big for Benfica, the club itself. And a lot of players are showing up. So big ups to Benfica for pulling this one off. Again, it wasn't a great result. It wasn't a great game. But in my opinion, lads, this tournament has lacked great games because first of all, I think that football right now is in a place where it's quantity over quality. There's a lot of football matches on all the time, but it makes the quality of the players play go down because they have to play so much. And this tournament for me, real quick, to kind of just touch on it before we get to Simeone and talk more about Benfica as well. You know, I look at America and I think to myself, man, we have the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, the Atlanta Georgia the Atlanta Falcon Stadium. We got the SoFi in LA. We got the Vegas Stadium. We got the Cardinal Stadium, and I think I'm leaving one out. We got the Houston Stadium, that's 6. All of these stadiums in America, and I might be missing one. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. 6, 7 stadiums that are closed. They're domes, which means they could have played these games inside with AC. And instead, America decided to put it in, you know, Miami, where the humidity is terrible. Charlotte, and just terrible places. And right now we're going through a heat wave, so it's like 100 degrees outside, plus the humidity. It makes it feel like it's 120 pretty much. It's disgusting outside, bro. I had to take my little baby to the doctor today, bro, and I put my car starting so I could put the AC on for 15 minutes before putting the baby in the car, and still when I got in the car, it still wasn't even like, it still was too hot, I felt like. So my wife went out there with a fan and put a fan on the baby while the AC was pumping just to make sure, you know what I mean? He's a baby, yo. So I'm trying to make sure he's cool. Like, it's crazy, the heat. And these players are running it. And I know people are like, well, they make million skills. Look, I'm not the bro, my family, construction company. My father owned a construction company. My uncle owns a construction company. They pour concrete. So anyone that has to be pouring concrete, working on roofs, laying down bricks, anyone that has to be in this, I feel bad for all of them. All of them that have to work in this. It's awful, bro. And then on top of that, to make these guys go run for 90 minutes, which you could have avoided this by putting it somewhere else or in stadiums that are closed, it makes no sense. So I really hope for the World Cup, they really go to more closed stadiums, because in Saudi Arabia, because of the heat, in Qatar, because of the heat, they put it during the winter. And in America, the heat's really bad, y'all. It's really bad. Is it as bad as Qatar? Probably not, but it's really bad. And they either need to put the games after like 8 o'clock at night, right? Which would not be good for Europe, or they need to put it inside stadiums, right? So, because for me, lads, when I watch the games, I can see, you know, when you watch European football, you can see kind of like the field is like more fluffy, right? You can see that they water it 3, 4, 5 times. The fields that these guys are playing on here in America, it looks like American football fields. You know, like when the Washington Commanders play, when Tampa Bay plays. You know what I mean? Like the grass kind of all rips up. It's not a good grass, right? It's meant for football, American football. And I don't like it. Jude Bellingham's complained about it. Llorente's complained about it. Luis Enrique's complaining about how the ball just it doesn't bounce. It's awful, lads. Like, it hasn't been a really, like, I like the tournament because we get to watch the South American teams and the fans make a lot of noise. It's awesome. But outside of that, bro, I don't think it's safe for the players, honestly, lads. I think we can see a lot of injuries. Hopefully that's not the case, but I don't think the stadiums are up for it. So I hope they fix that for the World Cup. But going back to Benfica, you know, you're doing your best in this heat. You're playing at freaking 3 o'clock, which is peak heat time. You're doing your best. Bayern's doing their best. And Benfica has this 1-0 lead when they sub it by the end, past the 70th minute. Benfica's just all in the back. And I could see in Antonio Silva, bro. Antonio Silva, when the water break happened, he put a wet towel around his head. He had his eyes closed. He just kind of has his head up. You can see that he's thinking to himself, how am I going to get through these next 20 minutes of game time? Like, you could see the guy was completely shot, bro. And after the game, man, you see Otamendi punching him and hugging him. And he just has his eyes closed, bro. He's not even looking at nobody. Antonio Silva was melted, bro. Like, he didn't want to go anymore. So I feel for these players, bro. It ain't cool, man. It's super hot out there. Bayern's going to play Flamengo, but if Bayern beats Flamengo, they now either play Inter Miami or PSG. So most likely PSG is going to be there, right? Benfica winning the group sends them over to Chelsea side. Now, Chelsea's a hard team, but Chelsea's no PSG. Let's keep it stacks with each other. Chelsea's getting back to Chelsea football. So Benfica goes to this side, and if they get by Chelsea, I believe they either play Botafogo or Palmeiras, right? So you kind of have a better chance on this side than that side of the bracket. Also, on that side of the bracket, as it stands right now, and it could change, it's like Bayern, City, PSG, like Inter Miami, crazy teams on this side, right? And on the other side, Real Madrid, did I say Real Madrid's on that side? On this side, it's not as stacked for like powerhouse teams. Still great teams, Botafogo, Palmeiras. You see these Brazilian teams really cooking at this tournament. So Benfica winning their group going to that side is actually low-key kind of better. Like if Bayern went to this side, if they play Chelsea, they would be the favorites in that game. They beat Chelsea. Now you go play Botafogo or you play Palmeiras. Bayern's still probably the favorite in that. And then if you were to get through that, and this is how it stands right now, this obviously changes. This is from a few hours ago. So the groups are, the tables change, the groups are changing. But I'm just trying to pull it up real quick because I know I have it. Here we go. Bayern would have played Chelsea. And if you would have got through Palmeiras or Botafogo, you play River Plate, Dortmund, Juve, or RB. You see what I'm saying? So Benfica being on this side, if it's how it still stands, you're with Palmeiras, Botafogo, Benfica, Chelsea, River Plate, Dortmund, Juve, RB. On the other side, PSG, Inter Milan, Flamengo, and then you have freaking Inter, Real Madrid, Man City, and Bayern Munich. Crazy. So that's why Bayern really started they put their stars in, they really started going for it because a tie would have been enough for them to win the group. So Benfica kind of helped themselves. Again, you got to go face Chelsea, which is a very, very hard first game. But if you can get through that, it's a little bit more of a favorable table side than the other side, if it stays like this. I mean, the other freaking 5 European powerhouses on that side, I think you would rather take one Brazilian powerhouse on this side and one European powerhouse than those type of powerhouses. You know what I'm saying? So Benfica definitely did a good thing by going to this side of the table. It was huge. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of now, we need to talk about certain teams. The FC Porto. I don't know what the heck happened. As a Benfiquista, I should be laughing, but I'm not going to because they're in a really bad place. Their coach is no good. Their players are kind of they changed presidents to Vilas Boas after their president passed away, their ex-president. But even then, he lost the elections before. Vilas Boas has a real hard time. Porto could have made a lot of money with this competition, but they go crashing out of a group that I thought they should have came out of. And then the real big surprise, Atletico Madrid. This manager, I think Simeone is the most paid manager in football. And it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me how this guy still has a job. He keeps crashing out of the Champions League. He hasn't won the La Liga in a while. Now he goes crashing out the Club World Cup. I just don't think Simeone is the answer at Atletico Madrid anymore. I truly don't. The way they went out of the Champions League was very tough because, remember, there was a penalty against Madrid where they said Julian Alvarez double touched the ball. Tough way to go out. But truly, as I'm looking at years of Atletico Madrid, yes, Simeone was one of the most. He put Atletico Madrid really in a spot to compete against Messi and Ronaldo's teams back then. But now I think it's time for change. I think it's ran its course. I think it's time to give new, fresh faces in there, new, fresh ideas, because Atletico Madrid just looks stale. And I was saying that even in the beginning of the year, of the actual football year, until they win as far as they win the Champions League. I think Simeone is somebody who's very, very lucky to still have a job. Very, very lucky. Will he get another job if he leaves there? 100%, probably a job in England or something. But it surprised me that man still has a job for Atletico Madrid with what he's done. So after this competition ends, I wouldn't be surprised, or I would expect Simeone to get sacked, Porto's manager to get sacked. I would think that was what should take place. I don't know if it will, but we'll have to see. I'm excited for the window to open and the transfers start happening. See if Nico Williams actually goes to Barca and all that stuff. I can't wait. But the Club World Cup, I would say it's been a 7 out of 10. I think if the stadiums were better and the fields, I'd probably 6 out of 10. If the stadium and stuff were better, I would say a 9 out of 10. But it's just, it's cool watching the Brazilian teams and the Argentinian teams go crazy. The fans go crazy. But when you really think about it, bro, like the quality of football is not that great because the fields are just not good and it's too hot. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyways, meu Benfica. Vamos, caralho. Vamos, caralho. Vamos, caralho. We're into the next round. We'll see how it goes against Chelsea. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all watching. Club World Cup, we still alive, baby.